even fathom that God is able to do that through you. Now that's crazy. I mean, that's just flat out crazy. I can't believe that God would store up that much power in us. But he has. To change you and to change this world. That's what Fillful Fall is all about. That's what the fall is all about. That God would fill you to such a degree. You know, I've read this a number of times, and I've heard lots of preachers preach this over and over again. You know, they talk about, that God, would allow our cup to run over. And you've read that in the Psalms. And there are other verses like, stirred up, shaken together, and running over. And all these ideas of this abundance. But I need to make sure you understand something about that. Whenever you read those verses and you begin to hear that God will begin to do more in you than you can even receive, you need to understand something, that what God is doing as he's filling you like a cup, like a vessel, as he's filling you, that it gets to a point within you that it begins to overflow. And what I need to make sure you understand is that that overflow is really not for you. I need to make sure you get that. Because, like anything, if I had a smaller glass of water, and I took this bottle, and I began to pour it into the cup. And that cup got fuller and fuller and fuller. Are you hearing the theme this weekend? And fuller and fuller. And then it began to overflow and almost begin to fall out. Over the edge, over the lip of that cup. You need to understand that there is no thought in the mind of that cup is going to recover anything that has fallen over its edge. You hear what I'm saying? And so that really is for everybody else. It is for your family. It's for your campus. It's for your friends. It's for your city. It is for your block. It's for your neighborhood. It is for this world. That is why God fills you, not for you. You hear what I'm saying? All right. And so tonight my assignment is to speak to the you inside of you. Not the cool, I walk around campus with my shirt off after practice so the girls will notice the two hairs that are on my chest. Not that you. That's the counterfeit you. That's the you that you've adopted. But that ain't really you. That ain't really you. I want you to take a look at somebody sitting next to you. Just go ahead and turn your head. It will not hurt you or them. Just turn your head and look at them. All right, now I want you to turn your head the opposite direction. I want you to look at the other person on the other side of you. Now, I did not ask you. Now, listen now, y'all. Listen, if I'm speaking, y'all are going to have to follow directions. Now, I did not ask you to exchange numbers. I did not ask for that. I just said, look at him. Some of y'all are really staring, too. Y'all like, ooh, he is so cute. Like, listen. What I need you to understand, is that my assignment tonight and this weekend is to call the you that's hidden inside of you out. There is so much power stored up in the person and the people that you just looked at. Now, it's not your power. It's God's power. But your ability to change this world is beyond anything that you just realized as you were looking into their eyes. I wish you understood. I wish you understood God's purpose for you. Let me talk about that. I need you to understand that there is something inside of you that God wants to call out of you this weekend, because your inability to even quote 5 scriptures The fact that you have focused so much on the counterfeit you, the one that you've kind of thought you were going to be, not the one God intended for you to be, the one you thought you were going to be. There is so much inside of you. One author spoke of my assignment tonight in the fall. They said, the greatest act of worship is to be who God created you to be. That is the greatest act of worship. What I need you to understand is that when John 10:10 says that the thief has come to steal, to kill, and to destroy, that his method of accomplishing his mission is to get you to believe that you are to become someone you were not designed to be. Eve, you and Adam will become like God if you eat the fruit in the middle of the garden. You will become like God if you eat of that fruit. Do you know that Adam and Eve were not designed to be God? They were designed to be human and reflect the image of God. And you and I tend to think of our lives on earth in the categories of occupation. When I want to study and I want to become a nurse, I want to become a pastor, I dream to become a professional athlete. But God doesn't speak in terms of occupation. He speaks in terms of purpose. Moses was a shepherd. But God didn't say, Moses, I designed you to be a shepherd. He said, Moses, I designed you. Your purpose is that you would deliver an entire people from slavery. Now that's what you're here for. It wasn't so that you could just be a shepherd. That's an occupation. Peter and Andrew were, by occupation, they were fishers. But then they encountered Jesus, and Jesus says, if you would follow me, I'm going to connect you with your purpose, and that is that you would be fishers of men. Now that's purpose. That's well beyond occupation. And there's a purpose that is deep down inside of each and every one of you that God wants to get at this weekend. You can take a bench like this or a chair like this that was sitting like this just a moment ago, that's designed, listen to me, it's designed to provide rest for everyone who would sit on it. But you can take this same bench or stool or chair and you can literally flip it on its side and move it over here. And it will it will occupy a different space in a completely different way than it was designed to occupy the space. And so when I speak of occupation, that's not that helpful when it comes to this stool. Well, this stool is occupying this space. True, it is. But that really isn't very helpful now, is it? But when you begin to realize the purpose of your design, you hear me? You begin to now fulfill something so much more than just an occupation. You begin to do so much more than just occupy space. You begin to serve a purpose for others, for all humanity. You hear what I'm saying? And so tonight, that is what I am after. I believe tonight that God is intending to do something in us that has really been upside down and inside out. I really believe that we live most of our lives somewhat askew. We live most of our lives on our sides, not in accordance with our design and purpose. And God doesn't speak to occupation, He speaks to your purpose. And this weekend, God intends to flip you right side up. Another way to say this is, an automobile. It's designed, though it has a gas tank, it is designed, that gas tank is totally empty. when it comes from the manufacturer, completely empty. And it is designed to hold fuel, gasoline, to power that automobile, in order that my automobile might perform to its fullest capacity and ability. If you take that same empty tank and you fill it with water, while the tank is capable of holding just about anything that's liquid, it wasn't designed to hold anything but gasoline. And when you pour water all up in that gas tank, I can tell you that automobile is going to perform well under its ability and capacity. You hear what I'm saying? And so Adam and Eve, in eating of the fruit of that tree in the middle of the garden, had flipped themselves on their side. Or they filled themselves with fruit that they were forbidden to eat. And they became people they were not intended to become. Can I tell you that your dreams, while they may be good, do not always line up with who God intended for you to be? Can I tell you that you can dream something totally innocent and normal and seemingly right, and that you can actually pursue something that actually is not in accordance with your unique gifts and talents and skills? I mean, to use an age-old example, I could pursue a totally innocent dream of becoming an artist someday. Now, there's absolutely nothing with me wanting to pursue being an artist. But can I tell you that I draw worse than most of my daughter's preschool class? Can I tell you that? That my drawing is absolutely pathetic and terrible. And I could work at it, and I suspect that I could actually get better at it. But I can also tell you that I don't think I have much hope at becoming a professional artist someday. Not because the dream isn't good, but because it is not in line with who God designed me to be. Okay? And so this is why. This is why God is calling us this weekend as people who are naked and ashamed and in hiding from our God, out from the darkness. You know, this is why though we have hundreds of Christians on our campuses, you are still not seeing God blow your imaginations. I mean, we make God the same, God who created everything in 6 days. I mean everything. In 6 days. Let me ask you, what did you accomplish last week? I mean, anything like that? Anybody create the whole world last week? No. That'd be negative. That didn't happen. I'm talking about God, who created everything in 6 days. We make him seemingly unable to even stop the cussing on your campus. You hear what I'm saying? I'm talking about God. Now why? Well, because we're hiding from the God who intends to make you into the you were intended to be. We're hiding, all of us. I'm not talking about the person sitting next to you. I'm talking about you. And I'm talking about me. We're hiding. Hiding, it's the natural reaction to the sin in our lives. Hiding is the natural reaction to not living consistent with your true character. Hiding is what you do when you're afraid of what God might call you to become. We hide when we think God